Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Laura, and today I'm doing my wrap-up for November. My November started out really well with 4-star books and then ended in 2-star books. So, yeah. I read a total of 8 books, so I'm going to share with my trusty journal what I read and what I rated it and why. So, the first book that I started to read, I read with Mom Two Triplets 04, my book club. I read Dorothy Must Die by Daniel Page, and that's this one. Dorothy Must Die. I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I started this book way back in March, and I put it down. I think I only read 100 pages, and I put it down. And I said, oh, I have to read this again. So I did pick it up again in November. And I started it from the beginning again and read all the way. And I finally completed it. It is about a retelling about the Wizard of Oz. It is a wicked retelling of Wizard of Oz. It is very dark and it has a lot of blood and a lot of killings in it. But I really did enjoy it. I gave it 4 stars. The next book I pre-ordered, and I got this one in the mail, and it was a very short book. I think it was only like 100 pages or that. And I read it as soon as I got it in the mail. I read it because it was so short. And the book that I read was The Grown Up by Gillian Flynn, and it looks like this. I gave this one 4.5 stars. I did drop it down half a star. I probably would have gave it 5 stars, but I dropped it down a half a star. The reason is, I'm reading in my notes here, I wanted more. The book was too short, and the ending, it left you guessing, and I was like, what the heck did I just read? So this is a mature book. It's for adults. It's mature. It has mature content. It's about ghosts, and it's a psychological thriller, and of course Gillian Flynn writes very dark books, so yes, I really enjoyed it. 4.5 stars. I think that was the best book that I read this month. The next book I listened to on audio, it is by Abby Glines. I read Until Friday Night, and this is what it looks like, and I gave this one 4.5 stars. This is another good book that I listened to. It's a high school story about first love. It deals with major topics. So there's lots of mature content in it. Usually Abby Glines writes new adults, so there's sexy times in it. There was a few, I think maybe one scene in the whole entire book for this one, because she is writing it for a young adult. I did enjoy it. It is supposed to be a series, and I will definitely be picking up the second book. I have a little bit of a cold, so that's why I keep sniffling. The next book I listened to on audio, I gave this one 4 stars. I read The Good Girl by Mary Kubuka. It looks like this one. And if I'm reading my notes, I gave it 4 stars. I dropped it down a star because it confused me a bit. It's told by the past, the present, and it jumps around a lot, which confuses me, so I always drop it down a star. So it's told by 3 people also. Eve is the mom, Gabe the detective, and Colin the kidnapper. So Mia is the girl that gets kidnapped, and it kept me reading. I'm trying to read my notes. It kept reading, and it has a big twist at the end. So yes, I had to listen to the ending twice because I was like, what the heck? But I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. The next book I listened to on audio, and this one was a read with Mom Two Triplets 04 book. And what we read was The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey, and it looks like this one. And I gave it 3 stars. I started out reading the book, and then I picked up the audio because I just couldn't get through the sci-fi part of it. It's told by multiple points of view, and that confuses me as well. I love the Casey parts, and I love the Sam's part, but other parts I didn't really care for. And I did watch the trailer because the movie is coming out, and the trailer looks really good, so I'm hoping that the movie is better than the book, so we'll see. The next book I took out on audio, and I was waiting for this on the library for a long time, and I finally got Memory Man by David Balducci, and it looks like this one, and I gave this one 3 stars. It's a cross between 3 and 4 stars I have written in my book. Beginning is very suspenseful. It sucked me in. The main character, his family gets killed in his house, and then he is very depressed. It starts out really with a bang, and then it gets a little slower paced. He's a detective, and he has these other cases that he's working on, and one of the cases is a school shooting. So so it can be interested, but I did, my attention span went up and down on this one, so it was like a 3 and 4, between a 3 and a 4 star type thing. So, The next book that I read was Read with Friends. And this one I read, I actually started this book a while ago, and I got stuck on like page 100, and I put the book down. It's very, very slow. So this time I bought the audio, and I tried to listen to the audio and read along with it. I have this book on my Kindle, and the book that I'm talking about is Red Rising by Pierce Brown. So it looks like that. I gave this one 2 stars. The second attempt that I read, I really enjoyed the part that I read up to. So from page 1 to 100, I really enjoyed it, listening to the audio. So it was more like a refresher because I already read that part. But after that, I was like, this book wasn't that great. The pacing was up and down. My attention span was all over the place. It could be because the writing style is too advanced for me. I don't like the slang when they write it. That confuses me. So it's a lot of sci-fi and science fiction, and a lot of words that I have no idea. But the audio was able to bring me through that, and I did complete the book. So, but I didn't really enjoy the book at all. So I should have DNF'd this and not attempted it again. So I will not be picking up the second book. They said the book will get better, but I got up to the 100, and that was the best part of the book, the beginning of the book. So it wasn't that great. So I didn't like it. It wasn't my cup of tea. So. And the last book was an audio book that I took out on Scribd. Scribd has this new thing where it's $8.99 a month for audiobooks, but you have to use a credit. So you use your credit for $8.99, and then I use my credit for I listened to The Fifth Wave. That's what I used my credit on. So I wanted to listen to another audiobook, and in order to do that for free, you had to pick the selections that they chose for that month. So the book that I chose to listen to on audio was called A Wicked Snow by Greg Olson. I had no idea about this book, no idea about this author. The book looks like this. And because it was free, I figured I would try it out. So I did read it and listen to it, and it is a psychological thriller, and I gave this one 2 stars. Like when I think of a psychological thriller, I think of something that's realistic and like realistic fiction, and this one was not realistic to me. The main character, her family gets killed in a fire, along with a whole bunch of other people, and in the book, the way I got the story was her mom was killed also in the fire, but somehow she shows up later, and it's just it wasn't very realistic to me, and it lost my attention. I was like in and out with the attention span, and I didn't really particularly like it. So I gave it 2 stars. And she picked the person, the main character. I'm sorry, the main character is an investigator. So why do they always do that? It was like kind of like other books that I've read before, where the main character becomes a detective afterwards. Like, why would you go into that type of field? I don't know. It just didn't make sense to me. So anyway, so that's 8 books that I completed. Now I am currently reading. I started the Colleen Hoover book, the November 9. So I started that. I only read like 2 chapters. I am enjoying that, so I will continue that in the month of December. And I also did a video of what I will be reading in December. I'm supposed to be starting a book tonight, and it's already 10 o'clock, so I don't know how far I'm going to get in the book that I'm supposed to be reading. I am reading the In the Woods by Tana French, I think. So anyway, so thank you for watching. I think that my December will be a little less reading, because I'm just so, with the holidays and all that. I have Hanukkah coming up, then I have Christmas coming up, and it's just very chaotic. So I don't know how much reading I'm going to be doing. So I might just lay back and do like 1 book a week instead of 2 books a week, but we'll see. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in another video. Bye.